I've come to bury AEW, not to praise it. Hear me rant next on Against the Ropes. Welcome everybody to Against the Ropes. I'm Taylor Berkowitz, and normally I'd have something funny to say, but I am just full of bitterness today. So let me introduce you to the real star, the ever hopeful Thomas Emeric. Thomas, how are you today?
I'm doing good today, Burke. I can't wait to go over what happened at Double or Nothing this past weekend and also Night of Champions on Saturday afternoon. So hopefully it should be a good show. I know you weren't excited to go over this, but you know it's our job. So.
No, I'm excited to get it off my chest. But clearly, you're optimistic about CM Punk.
Oh yeah, I'm really happy to see him back finally. I just hope that he comes back on good terms with AEW, and hopefully everything goes over smoothly, and we get a good run from CM Punk.
Well, we'll see where it goes, but. Let's get into the source of my anger. It is time for our Double or Nothing recap. Double or Nothing came to us from Las Vegas this past Sunday, and if you like exploding sneakers...
What the hell was that?
Referees taking unprotected guitar shots to the head...
Sanjay Dutt, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, they've had a lot of history together, and now, oh my God, Karen Jarrett just hit Aubrey Edwards with that damn guitar.
And seeing a dinosaur getting his thumb bit off.
Oh, Luchasaurus, he heard the footsteps. Oh, he's biting the thumb. He's chomping on the thumb. What the hell is this thing deteriorated to? This thumb bit. What the hell happened here? Arn Anderson chomped down onto the thumb of Luchasaurus.
Boy, do I have the show for you. So I have a lot to say about this, but before I start my therapy session, Thomas, what did you think of Double or Nothing?
So honestly, I really enjoyed the Blackjack Battle Royal with Orange Cassidy and Swerve Strickland coming down to the final two. I really thought that was a really cool encounter, and there was a lot of great moments in that match as well. And then I also did like the ladder match between Christian Cage and Wardlow. And then probably one of my least favorite matches of the night was definitely Chris Jericho against Adam Cole. I mean, like, I really expected more. I really expected it to be more brutal, but, you know, like, we got some crazy moments here and there, but I just expected more of that out of that match. And then Jade Cargill against Ty Valkyrie, that was not my favorite match. And then you get Chris Statlander coming out, and then she wins the TBS champion from Jade Cargill. I mean, like, I wasn't a big fan of that. I
love Chris Statlander, but I agree. It's not the way to bring her back. And, you know, if you want her to dethrone Jade Cargill, make it special.
Yeah, like, I just didn't like how it was done. I would have loved to see a longer reign for Jade Cargill, but, you know, it is what it is. And then I liked the Fatal 4-Way match, the Four Pillars Fatal 4-Way match, and then MJF ultimately came out on top. And he proved that no one is on the level of the devil. And then I did like the Anarchy in the Arena match. That was a pretty phenomenal match. And then that exploding super kick, I gotta say, I gotta pop out of that. That was amazing.
Except you could have watched it the next day on, you know, a zillion times being tweeted, and you didn't have to pay $50 and stay up until 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I got my money's worth. So you know.
I'll just be perfectly honest with the audience. I had shut it off by that point. I turned it off right after I guess it was the Jamie Hayter, the Tony Storm. Man, did I hate this show. I mean, this is, and I say this, and, you know, again, if, people that are watching know, I love the AEW. and AEW has completely lost its way. Let's start here. This wasn't a wrestling show. This was a gimmick show. Every match, top to bottom, was a gimmick. You start with the Battle Royal. Was it good? Yeah, I like the ending. I like that, Orange Cassidy won, with the, instead of a big move, just kind of kicks the hand. That's a great ending. But, I mean, look at all the talent in that ring. Jay White should not be there. And you're continuing this nonsense with Ricky Starks that nobody cares about. They've botched him. You're continuing Swerve and Keith Lee and that. Nobody cares. You haven't done anything with it. They didn't build new storylines in that Battle Royal. They continued bad storylines.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Gimmick. Follow that up. The unsanctioned match, which wasn't good.
Yeah.
Why is this feud even happening? Because, Adam Cole was friends with Keith Lee. Who cares? Gimmick. Follow that up. Mark Briscoe, special guest referee. Gimmick. Follow that up. Hey, you're getting your first match. The women's match seems like the first match that there's no stipulation, there's no nothing. Listen, if they were covering for Jamie Hayter's injury and they had to do something, I get it. But it was a complete angle. They gave him no time and just ran an angle. That's when I shut. I'm like this, and I looked at what's coming up next. House of Black match or whatever, the House Rule, whatever they call it. Another gimmick. Then you get the only two matches on the card that didn't have gimmicks going in were the two women's matches, one of which is a rehash of something we've already seen, which was Taya. And they're botching Taya too because she's great, and now you're just making her look like a jabroni. And then you, again, can't even have Jade win, but now it's, Chris Statlander comes in. So another angle.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe the Anarchy in the Arena match was good and that deserved to be that type of match. But guess what? You just ran an unsanctioned match before, which had all the nonsense in it. So who cares? A fatal four-way, another gimmick. It's gimmick, 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 gimmick. This is not what AEW is supposed to be. It was supposed to be a wrestling company. It was supposed to be different. When they were trying to out NXT, it was great. Now they're trying to out sports entertain WWE, and it stinks. And there's nothing that's really exciting me right now. Give me good wrestling. Give me some decent stories that will end with a match, and you throw those things in as a break. This was a gimmick card, top to bottom. It wasn't good. There was no real wrestling in it. And to me, it felt like watching just the death of a company. This is watching WCW in the late 90s with too many people trying to do too many things, trying to just, let's make a spectacle. There's no direction. And I was so angry and sad watching that, and just like, hey, this is something I believed in and I loved. And it feels like I'm at a funeral right now. And there was nothing, again, making me want to tune into Dynamite. I had Dynamite on last night, not paying attention. I had it on mute because Succession, way better drama. It's just sad that this is where we're at. And if AEW doesn't find its roots, I have no reason to stick with it.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're not liking AEW. Are you gonna be okay? Do you need some therapy?
Listen, this is. I'm glad that we have this, and that I can, get this out to whether I'm screaming into the void or not. At least, you know what? I can get these feelings out. And again, listen, wrestling is supposed to build feelings. It's drama. It's supposed to build these characters that we care about. So I guess I care enough to want to, have these feelings. But, man, it is just such a disappointment to see where this company has gone and how far away they've gotten from what they're trying. Just give me good wrestling. That's all I'm asking for, with some good stories and some good promos. It doesn't need to be a garbage match every single match. That was incredibly disappointing. We'll see where things go. But again, on Against the Ropes, we don't do star ratings. So the classic Las Vegas $5 shrimp cocktail. How many $5 shrimp cocktails are you giving? Double or nothing?
I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 cocktail shrimps. I mean, like, I did like the show, just like some parts weren't that good for me, and like they didn't catch my attention, unfortunately. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, in the middle.
This gets half a shrimp for me. I mean, it's just, there was nothing that really excited me. There was nothing that felt good. I'll say that the tag match was the match I was looking forward to. I knew it was going to be an overbooked mess, and it was. And if that had been the only overbooked mess on the show, I'd be like, okay, great. Mm-hmm. But the entire show is an overbooked mess, so it gets half a piece of shrimp for me.
Okay, just one thing. If you're going to have an unsanctioned match and AEW is not responsible for like what happens in that match, why would you have a referee stop it?
I don't know why you have other than it would go on forever. But again, that's why you're supposed to, unsanctioned matches usually go on last after the lights go down.
Yeah.
Nothing about that made sense. Absolutely nothing.
And then also one other thing, I don't know if it's just me, but I didn't like seeing Hook and the Hardy Boys on the buy-in. I really don't think they deserve to be on the buy-in.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Hardy doesn't deserve to be wrestling if that's where you're going.
No, I'm just saying, they don't deserve. I just really think they deserve to be on the main show.
Yeah, I think I agree with Hook. The Hardys, I think it's time for a retirement match for them. But
I mean, I think they have one more run left in them.
Did you watch Jeff in that match?
Yeah, I did. I did watch Jeff. That was a little bit scary.
That was pretty terrifying. But now that I've gotten that out of my system, when we come back, we'll talk about things that we actually liked about wrestling. So don't go away.
Howdy folks, Kenny Omega here for AEW and AEW Games. Quite some time ago, we announced our first foray into the video game world, AEW Fight Forever. We wanted to develop an arcade experience that was fun, easy to pick up and play, but difficult to master. We believe that AEW and our partners with Ukes have created just that experience. And finally, I'm happy to announce that we are ready to announce a release date. So, for Nintendo Switch, PS4, 5, Xbox, and PC, you can finally get your hands on AEW Fight Forever on June 29th. Get your copy now, pre-download, pre-order. Thank you so much for your patience in being awesome fans, and I hope to see you guys online in the game. Until then, must bid you adieu, goodbye, mwah, and good night, bye-bye.
AEW Fight Forever introduces Matt Hardy. And another Matt Hardy.
Broken Matt, I knew you'd come.
You obsolete mule! That's my line!
Did you know the only way to play as me for free on day one is to pre-order AEW Fight Forever? But you must ask yourself, which me shall it be?
Pre-order AEW Fight Forever today. It's the only way to play as Matt Hardy, or Matt Hardy. Order now.
Delete, 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 delete.
Welcome back to Against the Ropes. So wrestling is supposed to be a fun distraction, and there's still plenty that is fun. It seems like Night of Champions was a good show, and I saw that it led to the crowning of Seth Rollins as WWE champion and Asuka as the wrongly branded women's champion. So Thomas, I know you watched. So was this your high spot of the week?
It was part of it. So yes, I did watch Night of Champions. I thought it was a really phenomenal show, top to bottom. Some of the matches were really good. The only match I didn't like was Rhea Ripley and Natalya. It was really short, and I think Natalya deserves I think Natalya deserves a lot better than just getting squashed by Rhea Ripley.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
especially when you're traveling to the Middle East to do it.
yeah, I mean, like, I know Natalya isn't like the best wrestler in the world, but I feel like over these past couple of years, like, she's been a really underrated talent, and I think she deserves way more than just getting squashed. So that's the match I honestly didn't like, but other than that, like, all the other matches on the show were phenomenal. I did like, probably like one of my favorite matches of the show was Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens against Solo and Roman. And the ending of that match was phenomenal. The storytelling is phenomenal. Everything about the bloodline crumbling is phenomenal. I did like that Jimmy Uso super kicked Roman, and then we don't know where Jay is in this situation. Is he going to join Roman and Solo, or is he going to stay with his brother? Like, where do you think Jay Uso lies in this?
I mean, I think eventually you're going to get an Uso split and an Uso head-to-head, and then a reconciliation. You know, I think that's the direction you have to go in. So I think there will be that. I think there will be that beat to the story.
I mean, I honestly would love to see Jimmy Uso against Jey Uso at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think it's an easy.
That's a 5-star.
Yeah,
match,
I think that's an easy booking. And again, I mean, listen, that storyline. You know, maybe again, it is time to start wrapping it up.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, again, they're doing a good job, and you got Kevin and Sami who, you know, they will struggle to put on a bad match. So that's the big thing. You know, for me, listen, I didn't get a chance to watch. I was enjoying a lovely weekend in the city and the beautiful weather. So I didn't get a chance to watch. I only, you know, read some stuff and saw a few highlights. But for me, you know, my high spot was just the best of the Super Juniors in New Japan. I thought it was a great tournament. I was able, you know, in bits and pieces to basically watch every match of the 2-week run. I probably, you know, in terms of the booking of it, Master Wato, they put him over and they had him win. I like Wato. I think, you know, they need to build their own stars. But man, Speedball Mike Bailey was just the I knew going in, I was excited about him being there. He was the absolute star of that show. He was the star of that tour. Would have loved to have seen him and Desperado win in the semis and face each other in the final. And they went the other way. I understand why you don't want to put it on, you know, a guy like him or Titan, who are, you know, committed to other promotions. But I love that New Japan is building new stars. Speedball Mike Bailey, man, get yourself out of Impact and get yourself over to Japan full time, because you'll be a star there. And they really did a good job of highlighting people. It was fun to watch. It was exciting. It just, you know, again, that's the stuff that's fun about wrestling. So
now I know in a couple of weeks we got New Japan and AEW Forbidden Door. So are you looking forward to that at least?
I kind of was, and now I'm really not, but we'll see what the card is like. And if the card is going to be good matches for that, I'll probably still watch. Going forward, if they are going to run all out after they run all in, I got Bruce Springsteen tickets that night, and I'm pretty happy that I have some other plans. So that's just the way I'm feeling right now. But any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm so happy to see CM Punk back
I could tell.
in AEW. When Tony Khan came on the show and announced that CM Punk was coming back, you would have thought a bomb exploded in my house. Like that's how loud I was yelling. Like I get emotional for these things, and I'm just so happy to see CM Punk back. Like, I'm a huge CM Punk fan. I've always been a huge CM Punk fan ever since his days in the WWE. So I'm really happy to see him back.
I hope his biggest rival is somebody other than himself. That's my best hope. I'll just, you know, give my quick thing tonight. We're recording on Thursday, going to see Dan St. Germain tape his comedy special. Dan St. Germain, host of the Wrestle Roast podcast with Scott Chaplin, Mike Lawrence, and Robert Karpolis. If you like comedians, funny people talking about wrestling, they're funnier than I am. So watch them, but I'm going to see his taping tonight. But that's going to do it for us. So for Thomas Emeric, I'm Taylor Berkowitz. Thank you for listening to me vent, and just to make me feel better, says Emeric Thomas.
Yeah.